to say the least.
Okay.
We back in business.
Yep, no decisions were made.
Okay, I move that we give clarity to this statute 19-434 that states that Amanda can be classified as an exempt employee,
Okay.
plus give her 5% quarterly review bonus that we agreed upon earlier.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
Should need a second on that, correct?
I did.
Okay, second, go.
He done.
Okay, couldn't hear you. Good. Thank you.
You got,
Happy New Year, guys.
you go too. All right.
So when does that pay raise?
January 1st.
Well, it'll have to be the beginning of the next pay period.
Okay. Can I have that document for notes-taking purposes?
We already said that any raises would all start at the beginning of the first pay period.
Okay. So
Subsequent-
That's it, because I can't find mine again.
Ed, I didn't get I wasn't sure what you were talking about, and I couldn't hear you on your motion. Could you restate that motion?
We made the motion
I'll
that
do that
she,
same way I
her
can.
job description be exempt, and we made an agreement with her that we do quarterly reviews, so she got a 5%.
She's exempt?
Yeah, according to the state, it says she has to be.
I'll let the attorney
So
look
her
at
job
that.
description, she's exempt, and
Yeah.
Okay, so we publish it,
what was the rest of it? I
According
didn't
to
get
this
the motion, so
but this directive does not make the position exempt, does it?
Well, it states that she'll receive an annual salary. The
Which
only way
basically makes her
exempt.
every
Because if
quarter?
she were non-exempt, she would be paid hourly.
I see.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
That's the way I took it
When we
anyway.
came in,
And I'm damn sure not gonna argue with Nicole, because she knows everything, so.
Come on, it's fun. You want to argue with me.
Cody, did you find out anything?
Just
Not
one
as
last
bad
time
as
for the
y'all
year,
argue
come
with
on.
me.
We're ready for Carol, she's out
she was in the clerk's office.
What is it they say, argue with a woman just to find out you're wrong?
You talk to my husband. You guys could probably have a good conversation about how fun I am to argue with.
We had made
Does he run?
a decision earlier that all pay increases would start
Did you get a
on the
chance to
first
modify
day
that?
of the
No, I
following.
haven't even seen any modifications.
That we
payroll.
made a decision.
You left that in there
Now,
for her,
he
right?
just said
Yes, do you want me to
January
make changes
1st.
to that resolution for you while you're in here so you can take notes?
Okay, and I think as soon as Dolores, we were talking about the safe room grant, it's the $9,937.50. And I went back in all of my notes. It was originally discussed by the board in June 15th of 2015, is when you guys first approved applying for that and providing matching funds. So that's where the original amount was. We got the, during the budget planning of 2015, I provided the spreadsheet that showed the amount that we needed to include. Then in July of 2015, we applied for at that point it was called a pre-disaster mitigation grant. And on July 22nd, it was declined. On November 23rd, the state re-invited us to apply for the same funds as a hazard mitigation preparedness grant. And on January 29th, 2016, the board approved resubmitting. March 7th, the state approved submitting our project to FEMA as a sub-applicant. And then during the budget plannings in July, brought the spreadsheet up again showing that we needed to make sure that those monies were budgeted in 2017. And then in December 15th, we were notified that we were accepted by FEMA. So that's our track record. And the original amount was out of the county general fund. And that was back in June of 2015. And the city of St. Francis has already encumbered their part of the match for 2017. I confirmed with the Bird City Century too that they have their match as well.
Okay.
So we're good. All we need is our match.
That was 9,000.
937.50.
9,000.
Yeah, 9,937.50.
Okay, I have that.
And that's the resolution they're just modifying. In addition to that, we need, and Nicole has reviewed these. If you want to wait till she comes in to sign them, that's fine. We need, there's one contract to build the one in Bird City and one contract to build the one in St. Francis. So we just need the board president's signature on that. Nicole has reviewed all of that and she's good with that.
Is this the same thing you had on the computer?
Yeah,
Oh, I already read that.
okay.
I didn't really agree with it, but, I mean, the way they wanted to build this.
Okay.
I mean, a tornado can throw shit through a 1/4-inch building, that's no problem for a tornado.
These
So
are,
how are they getting
the buildings are
fast?
rated for an F4, is what they'll be rated for. And the primary risk in this area, we can get an
I guess what
F5.
I want to know is why didn't they just build this like a basement with a,
It needs to be handicap accessible, so if you go below ground, then you have stairs, and it no longer becomes accessible. So FEMA requires all of their community safe rooms to be above ground.
you can't
So-
roll the wheelchairs down the stairs.
It wouldn't be very nice. So Nicole, if you want to go on record that you've reviewed these.
Yes, I've reviewed those agreements and I have
Okay.
no legal concerns about either
Okay.
one of them.
We can go ahead and sign them then.
Yes.
And then, is Dolores in here? Yes, she is. Per the requirements for FEMA, we need to track that as a line item in the grants account so that we can track all income that comes in and all expenses that go out. So I don't know how we do that, if it's a specific fund or if you just want to do a line item under how you track all the other grants. Dolores, that would really be,
Well, we're getting ready for next year to move grants out of the county general, so I'm wondering if it would be better to show, to do it in, and wait and do it in that.
okay,
I can do it as a 2016 entry, if you needed to show as a 2016 entry, but I think that we could probably put better tracking in that new fund than the way it's set up now.
I think it does need to be an entry in 2016 to show that those funds were transferred somewhere.
Okay.
And then you can move them again in 2017 if we need to, but they need to be designated.
Well, it will show that it's a 2016 transaction.
Okay.
Even though I did it in
Okay.
2017, yeah.
Very good.
It's-
So do you have that revised resolution?
Actually, the wording was okay on that.
Yeah.
There wasn't any additional,
No.
No, we added,
we
we added just a little bit.
okay.
It basically just says that it's for the purpose of building,
The
providing funds for a community safety.
I've looked at that.
Okay. We'll need a motion.
For this,
Yeah,
or,
for 1637, we have not approved that one.
oh, yeah. This is a separate item, isn't it?
That's the safe room. Grant.
That's for the safe room. That's the
Yeah.
resolution.
Oh,
That's that
okay.
$9,000.
Okay, yeah.
That's the one we had held back
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Resolution number 16-37 to transfer funds by the county treasurer from the county general to the county general fund in an amount of $9,937.50 with the intent to fund the community safe room project.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then those contracts, did you sign those? right there, both copies. Okay? And then the other thing with the safe room is we'll need to officially start a bid process to obtain bids. So we need to be able to advertise in the local newspaper
Okay.
with a public notice. I've been working with Nicole on the language of the RFP.
Yeah, so if you guys could just authorize us to finalize our RFP process, we have it, it just came from a federal form and is like 10 times more complicated than it needs to be.
Yep.
So if you could just authorize Carol and I to
Okay.
formalize that. It's a very basic process. It's just a little more bureaucratic than we're used to since we're dealing with federal grants, so.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we authorize Carol Soper and Nicole Romaine to work on the RSP for the
FEMA Safe Room project.
communications?
FEMA safe room.
Oh, okay, safe
Yeah.
room.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
And I'll send you my edits on that next week. Is
Okay,
that good?
Yep, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay.
And then we have, this was the transfer form for the EMPG. Do they need to sign that? Or is that just a copy for me that you slipped?
They use.
Okay, so this was for that EMPG grant funds that came in,
Oh.
the $10,000.
Yes.
They need to transfer that over to the,
We've got some other transfers. We haven't got to those transfers.
okay, you just want to keep that
So,
as a
yeah.
transfer?
I
Okay.
agree.
Okay. And then the last thing is the ambulance grant. The final amount should be closer to 82,000 rather than 85,000. So that's the amount that, I don't know if we want to still show that we still have the full 85,000. We've signed a letter stating that we would pay up to 85,000. I know the actual bill will come in under that.
I say we keep it at what?
At 85,000?
Yes.
So that we're insured to have those funds available.
Agreed.
Okay. But
I
know
think
that we really will not
Yes, I
expend
think being
that
more
amount.
cautious and having money left over is safer, so.
Okay.
Could I get a copy of those for the contracts that were signed?
Yeah.
To put in the safe room grant file?
I'll give you a copy of the signed ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I will do that.
Okay.
So I don't know if there was a transfer that needs to happen, a resolution that needs to happen for the ambulance grant.
Well, we need some direction by the board to where the transfer is going to come from, the funds.
Out of this year's money?
Out of the county general?
Would have to. It's the only place that, because if we don't have enough out of the equipment account, we're gonna have to make up the difference out of the county general. Or the courthouse
So
general,
we need a
actually.
transfer of 85,000 from county general to grants?
It would need to go into a grant for the ambulance.
So,
Yeah, but what about the money that's already in the equipment account and the money that will go into the equipment account in 17?
I'm not following you, Ronnie, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Because I guess my
In-
thing
in
is.
15,
Here, let me just stop one second.
There sits 3,000, 13,507.20 sitting in there.
Right,
In 16, depending on how much more expenses come in, another 54,000 will go into that account. But that's decreasing over time. We have to make up the difference someplace.
well, that's my point though, is why we would want to transfer 85,000 from county general to grants for this project. And then if there is additional money in that fund, we can then transfer it back. And since we've done the transfer from general into the county general, or into the grant fund, we have the ability to transfer that back to general at that point. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But
So
at
we'd
least that-
refund the general, whatever we don't use.
Right, but at
out
least
of-
that way, there's no doubt that we have secured the matching
Yeah.
funds pursuant to the agreements
Yeah.
that we've already signed. So,
We're gonna have to do a resolution on that?
Sounds to me like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Just for the transfer.
Poor Peter.
I'm not sure.
I would rather do a resolution with everything. So I can use the format that we used for that. If you could swing in there, we can type something up. What number are we at, Deb?
39?
39 would be 40,
We
I
need to
think.
have a 40.
40.
Yeah.
So if you just do a file and a save as and put it at 40,
Okay.
and then you can edit it and save it in the 2016 folder.
Morris, did you have something?
I think when I finish my own, don't forget to pull them out. So was she done? Well done.
I think so.
Yeah, we just have to,
I think so. Do you want to do
Pass.
the transfers? Did you want to do these?
Okay, so I was reading the minutes from the last meeting, and there was a transfer for authorization for that 10,000 for that EMPG
okay.
grant. So I'm just making a transfer for that.
And we've already approved that, correct?
Yes, in the last meeting.
I'll let you put it in because of the last meeting.
And then this,
What the hell is the 30th?
Yeah.
yep, 30th. On the K-Camp grant that the ambulance used for the backup cameras and the mirror things, there was a freight expense that wasn't considered, so there's another $63.39 that needs to be transferred to, because that's still up and beyond that 2,000 that they gave us, so.
Okay.
The freight wasn't on the original invoice that was turned in.
Okay, so we'll need, well, it's not, are you guys okay with that? We don't need a motion for that because it's not over 500, but you guys need to make sure you're okay with it.
Okay, and then here's the, was it just 85,000 or 85.5? I keep hearing 85.5
85,000 is what I
today.
wrote down.
Okay,
The 85 is the county's.
okay.
Match.
There was a couple of times I kept hearing 85.5, so I didn't know if I had
That
that
one ain't
wrong. or
much.
if that was
Yeah,
right.
the $63 over, the $2,000 K-Camp grant,
Okay.
the cameras, that was the shipping and handling of the freight. We need
These
to,
two, so we're
we
not.
need to make a,
we don't
we need to
transfer
just agree on it
No.
and sign it.
And then what
Which I'm
about this
fine
one?
with.
Yeah, it's 85.
Must be. didn't
That
say
is
that.
money that we did not use
Okay.
in
This is-
2016, right?
They're doing a resolution right now for that.
This was approved back
This
in
one, we're doing a
November.
resolution.
A 15, right?
Yes, I had to print
And
it
it's
for
here
everybody.
now.
Of this year.
He's gonna need to
This
make
is
a
the-
motion on
They
resolution.
approved the crap.
Make that motion.
These were all 2017 grants, but they were mentioned here, so I didn't know if we needed to move in 2016.
Amount wasn't
Gentlemen,
right,
I'll
'cause
make
it's
a motion.
$10,000 grant.
Resolution number
It's in the budget.
16-40 to transfer funds. Funds be transferred by the county treasurer from the county general to the county general grant fund in the amount of $85,000 with the intent to fund the acquisition of a new ambulance.
Second.
These were
All those in
the-
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
This is what we were talking about.
Oh, yeah. That'll come out of his 2017
Okay.
contractual. Now I remember, because it went over that.
Okay.
So, yeah, we don't need to
I'm just
come
trying to
money
get the
going
signatures
forward.
on the ones
Yeah,
we need to
no.
get done, so.
Okay,
Okay,
good, right.
very good.
Thank you guys very much.
Were you done?
Appreciate it. Yeah, that was, they did the final resolution.
Okay.
There's the resolution. We should be good there.
Happy New Year.
You too.
Thanks. Not yet.
Can I see those?
Hopefully you read the six.
Once I get organized. are the ones they signed.
Should be your last transfer funds.
Okay, so in the discussion of grants and moving grants out of the county general into a department, a fund all itself. We have a couple of grants that have overspent and have been spending out of grants without money coming in. So I need guidance of how to move forward.
Transfer them?
Yeah. What to do with with these two particular grants, and I can pass these out so you can
Okay.
look at them. I believe I know.
Is this one of them the
Pretty good
AT&T?
ticketing.
Yeah. Do you want one?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good. One. This one is it. Okay, on the
This thing's costing way more than
on the 39,367 one, I believe, I don't know which minutes it was, but I had found some notes where it was discussed that they would have more coming in than what, that the funds were stopping from coming in for the grants, but there was still going to be some expenses coming in. And then once we had the capital improvement fund set up and funds into that, that would reimburse that. But I haven't had a chance to research the minutes to find out if that was actually what was agreed
We
upon.
took the money out of oil and gas, put it into this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Some of that was the bond fund.
This is still more than what was there.
Now, this is grants. This is back when they were senior living funds and before they ever turned into Home for the Aged and working on that. This was,
Because in reality, the 2006 purchases, expenses out of this, which puts us over, probably really should have been expensed out of capital improvement.
The Home for the Aged. I
Right,
agree.
rather than this fund.
Yes,
And I think that's
yeah.
the way we probably fix this is, I mean, when
Right.
I look at the 2006 expenses for this, these are all expenses related to, you know, Grace Services, the Grace team, everything to prep. So I think the way we fix this is we pay the difference and have it come out of the capital improvement for Home of the Aged.
Right, so she needs to do the transfer papers, we need to sign them.
Yep, and we don't need a resolution for that, we can just do a
Okay.
transfer.
okay, so then the other one is kind of the same way. We were getting grants to set up our 911 system. And I don't think I brought you the full history of it. We went back to 2007. But the funds, we haven't received funds in since 2010. And for this AT&T bill keeps getting paid out of here. Talking with the auditors, they said that anything 2015 and older, it's been audited, it's a done deal. Forget it, we're just going to worry about 2016. So I guess I need guidance of where we need to reimburse this from for 2016. And I don't know, 2017, I don't think this, the situation is, I don't think this ever came up at budget time to get put anywhere. And so there was nowhere else to pay it from.
So, what is this exactly? Have you guys figured that out?
That is the best, that us, we can figure it out, that's just the phone bill for dispatch. Yeah.
Okay.
The administrative lines, the regular lines,
Did you ever
we pay 18,
figure it out?
I'm standing in front of the camera, I'm
I had-
sorry. We pay $18,000 a year for a maintenance fee. Then on top of that, we have a regular phone bill just like anybody else would have.
Okay, so this is the phone bill for dispatch beyond the actual contract for.
Yes, that's
Service.
long distance, all that stuff,
You know,
phone bill.
without communication. Just done what
Many
was-
times, like, yeah.
yeah,
So,
communication.
I think, I mean, this just needs to be transferred out of the general to cover the costs. I don't think there's any option, but I think everyone needs to know that because this hasn't been brought up before, this was not budgeted for in the 2017 budgets that have
Either.
already been approved. So we're going to,
Have a built-in shortage.
Well,
There's
we're
gonna
going
be-
to be hopefully not getting an AT&T bill very long.
Yeah, we'll be
Well,
switching next.
I still have,
there'll still be a phone bill though.
True.
And that, because this hasn't been, I mean, so what we're looking at is there's going to be somewhere between, I mean, even if we switch companies, we're still talking 8,000 a year at least, right?
Yeah, because, remember, there's the courthouse phone system. The 911 phone system is a completely different phone system. That is an AT&T phone system. That will not be changing when we switch to Nextech.
Okay.
That is still, it's Kansas's 911 system. AT&T has the contract for 911.
Okay,
So we will always be getting, until another company gets a contract for 911 in the state of Kansas, we will always be forced to do business. I don't mean that in a bad way, but we'll be
Right.
we'll be contractually obligated
I get
to
that. I
do
just wanna-
business with AT&T.
So, did you get the chance to read those question and answer thing about what you can use the 911 funds
this is,
for?
I feel like there's communication issues where you guys need to sit down and talk before I get involved. So that you guys are all on the same, does that make sense? Because I feel like that's a big, that's been a big problem here with this being expensed out, those departments not being included in it. I just feel like there needs to be communication where you guys sit down and talk before I get pulled in. Does that make sense?
Sure.
No. Okay. Well,
I don't have anything to do with it, it's just that I'm dealing with moving the grant.
I know, but some of this
But-
has been communication issues that I think need to be worked out before I give a legal opinion about anything. Does that make
if
sense?
that thing wasn't funded since 2010 and no one, him
Right.
nor I
But
know
what
about it.
I think
Clearly
immediately,
a communication issue.
Well, it's been brought up and we have discussed it, but I'm the only
Who's
one
we?
that remembers that. Huh?
Who's we?
Deb and I and you,
Not I.
but not,
ultimately, I mean, we have two issues today. One, we have a shortfall of $13,000 that needs to be taken care of. And two, there needs to be an acknowledgement that since this wasn't specifically addressed during the budget season, during the budget time, feels like a hunting season, that we are going to, there's going to be some fund for 2017 that is automatically going to go over budget, no matter where it falls.
Be responsible.
And I
that
just want
is
to
the
make sure
reason
that's,
why I'm asking if the 911 funds could be used for this,
And we
instead
can-
of doing that.
Yeah, we can
That's why I'm
call,
asking.
there's a guy who works for the 911 council.
I know,
who
but
answers that question. We can call him
Dolores,
and ask him.
they need to be on board and we all need to be on the same page. I don't want to like give an edict if we can all work together as a team to figure out the 2017.
Well, I understand that.
Okay, but
But I need to know, I just made the suggestion if we could use the 911 funds to reimburse
I know,
rather
but
than the courthouse.
I get that, and what I'm saying is I feel like that's for the 2017 issue that we need to resolve on that, that's a conversation that would, I think, be best resolved in a cooperative meeting
Yes,
between
I
all
agree
of
with
us.
that.
Okay, that's all I'm saying on
But
that.
I need guidance on 2016.
And as I just indicated to them, there are two issues. The first issue is fixing the shortfall in 2016, which I think we just need to do a transfer out of county general,
Okay.
to cover that. there's going to be a shortfall in 2017 unless it can be resolved. And I think just acknowledging that and then knowing that Dolores is going to cooperatively work with everyone to see if we can figure out a solution to avoid that shortfall, we will work on it, but it may not work. I just want to make sure everyone's clear so that if this becomes an issue in 2017, but at this point, I think everyone's on notice that 2018, this will need to be addressed in the dispatch budget.
Correct.
Okay.
I will coordinate with the Next Gen 911 Council and learn what I can about funding that.
All right. Bill?
Okay, so we've got the two grants. Sorry, did not mean to cause such a ruckus.
What are we gonna have to do then? Take it out of this year's budget?
Yeah, so on this, there's just going to need to be a transfer form.
So we'll need another resolution.
Not a resolution, you can just do a transfer on this.
Okay. This is what she was talking about.
I understand that,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying that I think that's a conversation that needs to be had
Yeah.
between departments first.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make a motion that we transfer $13,204.88. Or correction, not how would I make that?
So you're making a motion
motion
to
to-
transfer $13,204.88 from county
From the
general.
9/11 enhanced
No.
to the,
From county general to
Oh, okay.
9/11,
all right,
911 enhanced.
all right. From county general to the 911 enhanced grant fund, is that correct? This was a grant fund?
And then are we just going to close this fund out, Dolores, since we don't have money coming into it anymore?
All those in
That'd be the
favor,
best
signify by
way.
saying aye.
This is actually just a line item in grants.
Okay,
Where's the county
Got it.
general?
So it's actually, so it's actually being paid out of the county general, just no department, really. I
Right.
mean, it's not,
so we're transferring money within the same fund, really?
yeah, well, yeah.
And the courthouse, the senior living.
It's
coming
just
up
that-
as general.
Grants is a
I
non-budgeted,
think so.
As far as I know.
so I didn't know if there was any legality of paying for a bill out of non-budgeted funds.
I think doing a transfer probably protects you.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
But are we going to remove that line item? Because I think part of the problem is, as we become more active in grants and we're creating line items and grants are going to go away, we want to make sure there's a procedure in place that we don't end up in this position again where we're paying out of a grant fund, using that term loosely, when there isn't money coming out of it anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, yes and no, but
Okay.
there's times where something pops up and they get a small grant here and there. I mean, 911 may get another grant for something down the road, so I kind of need to have it there. I can't just make it come and
I
go.
know.
But this will kind of be solved because we're going to pull grants out and have it also just separated out by
It's going to
departments,
be
right?
It's going to be in its own fund.
Okay.
Grants is going to be a fund all in its own.
Right, and then within that fund, there'll be line items for each department.
Right.
Okay, so that kind of solves the problem, because this makes it look like it's a specific grant, right? I mean, that's how I look at the way this is worded, because it's not like it says dispatch department.
When that was opened, that was when we were getting the grants to put the console in and all of that. Yes.
Right, but I think that's my thing, is wasn't that grant called 911 Enhanced?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think maybe the way we're gonna do the new fund will address maybe part of it, but.
If you're in this room.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we got all the transfers signed. I just wanted to update, or did you already update them on the tax sale? We met earlier this week. I'm going to be sending out next week a second letter to all of the ones that still haven't paid, which there were 40 to begin with, and now we're down to 22. So I'm going to send a second letter giving them 2 weeks.
And essentially
then-
just telling them, hey, we're sending the list to the abstractors. If we don't get payment, know that at this point, you will have an additional fee. So hopefully
And then-
that'll clear a few more out before we,
And then after the 2 weeks is up, I'll give Sandra, the one who won the contract bid for the abstractor, the list to get started on the title certificates, and then we will
Good.
just move forward after that.
and then you're almost done with it. It's all me at that point.
And then the last thing is, I'm going to attend the PBC meeting on the 5th. My thought process and my hopes is that when, just to kind of get more information, because I felt like the last few times they've come, we're not really all on the same page. So I'm going to go and see if I can learn a little more of what is their side of their story. And would like to invite them to the January 9th meeting so that they can be here to visit with the new and the old commissioners all together.
I think it's a good
I
idea.
think that
Yeah.
if we could all try to get
Get
everybody on the same page so that it's a smoother transition. Since it's such a big project, I really feel it's important
Okay.
if we could do that.
Sounds good.
So we might try to put that on the agenda somewhere before the switch over, or however that we can do that.
Let me know how that 5th meeting comes out and what time we need to get them on the agenda.
Okay. And the last thing I had was I would like to raise my deputy up to another level for 2017. She's at 3 right now, and I'm going to move her up to 4. She's starting her 4th year here now, and I feel she has taken off on quite a bit more responsibility than when she was hired with the job description.
look at
I've
her.
added some things to it,
She's doing an amazing
and
job
she's doing really well, yes.
to help us identify and fix some issues.
Do you have funds in next year's budget for this?
Yes.
I got no problem.
Okay. That's fine.
Now, let's go back to Amanda's. We already made a decision that any raises would occur at the beginning of the following pay period. You had stated 1 January, which is in the middle. That's going to cause payroll all kinds of hassle.
Okay.
So
Well,
it would be effective on January 10th, am I correct? The 9th is the last day of the pay period?
As I'm reworking all of those wage agreements.
Yeah.
If it's your wish, I can, as I rework that, I can move that up a pay level and accommodate that.
And it'd be effective.
That's what I was
You'd be effective
anticipating.
January 10th.
He's talking about the effective date.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Dolores, did you have anything else?
No,
Okay.
thank you
Have a
very
quick
much.
break.
Make a motion
Yeah.
that we raise
Don Zimmel.
Don Zimmerman, 1 category
To a level 4.
to category 4.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.